Hello, hello everybody. Welcome back to HomeStoryCup Group C, where we have Elazer versus GuMiho. We're gonna watch the players that duke it out for top 3 of this matchup. We previously watched a slobber knocker of a match. That was Elazer versus Clem. Actually a sick match. I would recommend you go back and watch that. And now we watch GuMiho versus Elazer. So Clem, GuMiho, and Elazer are basically the players fighting for top 3 right now, with the other players not quite making the cut. I didn't see if this refinery was before barracks, I think. It kind of looks like a gas first, but I'm not a Terran, so... Ooh, but he really wants that gas. That makes me believe this is gas first, and he's going for a quick reactor, maybe even factory. Other side, we see Elazer just chilling, doing normal stuff. I've seen Dark getting this hatchery, and then after that, mining these minerals. So he goes literal 3 hatch. Super nice, but kind of greedy. So we do indeed see CC before any units. And now I think we're going to see a factory to slap down before any units at all. Yes, GuMiho makes a factory before any units. So let's see what Elazer does. If he sees the lack of a Reaper, he probably doesn't have to make these lings, but if you don't know, you don't know. He sees the CC and he's making those 4 lings. Damn, if only he knew. I like the small optimization by Elazer. You can probably do this and get more minerals than mine the gold minerals, because this is not the first player I've seen this do. Also, it provides you an extra 3rd base that a Reaper can't really deny both. So even if it's not more optimal, it gives you an extra option for a 3rd base, which is really nice. These goddamn unbuildable plates will go down, and a 3rd base is being plonked down by Elazer. It's just nicely droning up, stopped mining gas, getting that speed up. He might have seen these Marines, but we didn't catch that. And over here we already see 1 Hellion on the way, and a Starport is also on the way. Tech Lab, so this might be super fast Banshees. It could also just be a super fast medevac Hellion drop. We'll have to see. On the Elazer side, it's honestly a little boring. He's like, okay, nothing's happening. Let me just make more drones. We do see super fast Tech Lab on this Starport, and I suspect there will be maybe a Raven or a Battlecruiser. We do indeed see this fusion core. So he's just going to wait for that to finish. And now he's moving across the map with these 2 Hellions. See what's up. What has Elazer done, really? Because Elazer has been chilling non-stop. He hasn't had to do anything he didn't want to do this game yet. In the production tab, we still see a lot of drones being made. Wow, 1 tumor has bit the dust. First casualty of the game. And we see this Battlecruiser is indeed on the way. Yes, indeed. 2nd Starport. So, curious to see if he's going to fly this barracks over to make a another tech lab for it and go double port BC. He does have double gas. Almost no SCVs mining Merles. Very uncanny. And he's getting yamatocannon. So he's definitely going into this double BC play. We see 1 spore on the way in the natural, 1 in the 3rd. Undoubtedly, at some point, 1 in the main will also appear. Once he figures out it's probably PC. I haven't seen anything yet. You see Elazer just kind of moving around like, okay, I've got some lings in case you show me Hellions. I'm surprised that we haven't seen any
Who called in the fleet?
Overlord suicide play by Elazer to confirm. We just saw this popping in. Elazer saw it right away. Super good reactions. And now the queens are here. And he's making a Roach Warren because he knows that if I see BCs, it's probably mech at the back of this. Little does he know that it's just battlecruisers with battlecruisers. Nate is smiling as he watches this game back. On my channel, of course. No 4th base for Elazer. He probably knows that it's hard to defend a 4th base against these BCs. But if you get it up, then you're cruising. Quite literally. We do see double Evo. And he just added his next 3 gases. So Elazer been running on this 1 gas for quite a bit. Now we see double BC production and Yamato almost done. He's sneaking around looking for a juicy queen target. So then action will probably go down here. She's gonna snipe a decently high energy queen. Another one teleports in. Got him. So we killed 1 queen. Queens aren't expensive, but they do take quite a bit to build. Quite a bit of time to build. And since he only has 3 hatcheries to build them from, you can only build them 3 at a time. And another, he targeted the highest energy queen there. And no 3rd BC joins the cause. He might actually target the spore. Nope, he's just targeting the queens, and the queens that reinforce now showed up, and he just flies up and into the main. There's 2 spores here. Can't quite target the red one down. We do see this one till tucked between its engines, floating on back. We see more PCs on the way, but we... Oh! As I say it, the 3rd one joins the pack. Well, actually the 4th one. But the 4th one is on its way to deny this 4th base we talked about earlier. It's quite hard to defend a 4th base from this consistent BC harassment. Actually lost 7 drones there. And the Elazer's just pumping out these queens. He knows if I just use my minerals to pump out drone spores and queens, you can't stop me. You can't kill me. 3rd base. Oh my god, what a gigantic counterattack from GuMiho. Or from Elazer against GuMiho. You have 1 BC here, 2 BC, 3 BC, but we already have 18 SCVs, 19 SCVs biting the dust. Elazer correctly identified that that's a lot of BCs you got there. No way that you have anything at home. 42 SCVs bite to dust. This is GuMiho crying himself to sleep tonight. Because there is nothing you can do when you have no SCVs to produce more BCs. 3rd base can now finally be landed because the creep overlord has been killed, but also 45 SCVs have died. He still has 20 SCVs, so he did have a comfortable 70 SCVs behind that. 7 battlecruisers will have to make miracles happen in this game. The 4th base was cancelled. A new 4th base is being established. We have this giant flock of queens. We have 1-1. But no further upgrades being researched. We now have this giant swarm of corruptors. I think it's like 11 of them. 15, never mind. They can just target these BCs down before the SCVs can do anything. It's really hard to fight into BCs with corruptors. You need to have a good amount of corruptors so you can preferably 2-shot the battlecruisers, so that when you engage them, and you will get Yamato, that you can actually make it worth. Because if you're like 5-6-shotting battlecruisers, they can peel back micro like this and get a bunch of Yamatos. So they will actually get kills, while you won't get any kills. But he has a bunch of queens here as well that will transfuse the battlecruiser, or the corruptors, and the battlecruisers just can't stand up to the constant transfuses. And Elazer takes the first game. And we are heading straight into the second game of GuMiho versus Elazer, played on Royal Blood. So in the first game, we saw GuMiho pull out the double Starport BC build, basically not building any other units than BCs, and it looked quite good for a while, and then Elazer punched back with a Roachling counterattack, and all of the battlecruisers were teleported across the map, so they were not gently flown across the map, which meant that retreating for GuMiho was a difficult proposition, and before he could retreat with his battlecruisers to deal with that Ling Roach counterattack, Elazer got the damage done. He killed 50 plus workers. And all of a sudden, those battlecruisers are all the battlecruisers that you have. Maybe you can squeak out one more, but you really have to just pump out SCVs and hope that your battlecruiser count is enough, that you can shave off enough Corruptor Queen with your Yamato teleport peelback micro, that you can survive long enough to reinvest in your economy and then slowly but surely take a third, take a fourth, and then maybe you can put up a good fight. Maybe you did enough drone damage to Elazer. It's sometimes hard to know. And Elazer did suffer some damage, and he had to invest a lot into his defense. But as soon as his queens had enough creep threat going to march forward together with the Corruptors, they actually became his offense. Now we see a slightly different opener from GuMiho. Didn't get quite as fast at gas, and he's electing to get a Reaper. So standard opening for GuMiho here, following it up with a Marine, not heading into a reactor straight away. Instead, he will probably add on a factory. Other side of the map, we see Elazer doing Zerg things, just taking his third base. He stopped gas mining at 100 again to get this speed. This drone is just chilling here, ready to become a gas if anything happens that he doesn't like. But he just wants to take that third as soon as he has his 300 minerals. And the third base has been thrown down. 2 lings have been lost, however. But you'll gladly pay those 2 lings to get your third base down and keep your drones mining. Other side, we see a quick third command center. So GuMiho swapping it up, swapping his playstyle around, going into these reactor Hellions and throwing down Starport. I'm probably going to be making an add-on for that Starport. I am expecting Hellion Banshee here. Second gas on the way. Other side of the map. Reaper, you'll get there. You'll get there, buddy. If only you had your old grenade charges to actually do some damage. Extractors would have to get buffed again, so we can actually mine gas versus those goddamn Reapers. So indeed we see this tech lab coming up. Third CC almost done. And the first 2 Hellions plus Reaper are already on Elazer's creep being annoying, making sure that the creep isn't spread too greedily. And this queen actually taken quite a bit of damage. There is no energy for transfuse just yet, and the creep to the third base has not been connected quite yet. So as you can see, it was quite difficult to make sure that the next 2 Hellions don't just run into the third and roast a couple drones. So that's why you keep your queens spread a little. Oh, 1 tumor goes down. Second tumor didn't get targeted down. But maybe he knows where it is. But he's hunting for these low health queens, and now there's actually a Raven on their way. So we're really going to focus on killing creep tumors and maybe some drones with auto turrets. But if you put an auto turret on the creep as well, it can help you shave off some lings, damage some queens, because he has done a good job of shaving this queen health down to low numbers. We have one Banshee chilling and now a Raven, so this seems like a defensive Banshee, question mark. So if there was any roach attack coming, it is now useless, or at least won't prevail. We have 8 Hellions, a Reaper, and a Raven. Now that's an anti-creep army if I've ever seen one. Lost 1 Hellion there to the Queens. See a little Scouty-ling. And we have 3 Spores underway, actually. That is quite a big reaction. Because he has seen the Raven, so he knows that there's a Tech Lab Starport. And he hasn't seen more than 1 Banshee. So it is not weird of him to assume that maybe he's banking up 2 Banshees and made the Raven whilst Cloak was still finishing. But we know that this Banshee is just a casual Banshee for defensive purposes. And could have been used to deny a 4th base, maybe. But has not been used that way. A lot of upgrades coming out of GuMiho, 1-1 plus Stim, and tanks being added on with medevacs underway. So maybe we'll see a move out when all of this finishes. On the laser side of the map, we also have 1-1 plus Baneling speed, which means there is a lair and actually a macro hatch. So he's going to be sticking on that Ling Bane for a little while longer. Wouldn't surprise me if he also takes a ballsy 5th somewhere. Because the risk rewards, it becomes a little better when you're relying so heavily on those larvae. Another scouting Ling scouts out that there is siege tanks. And this might be a little move out from GuMiho indeed. Walking up to the 4th base of Elazer. Whilst also keeping his creep clearing army out here, so some 2-pronged action. Whilst there is a Zergling counterattack, they miss each other. Lucky for Elazer, unlucky for GuMiho. GuMiho uses this 1 tank to anchor his push, but the Lings are running into the 3rd and into the natural, get cleaned up at the natural. Probably also going to get cleaned up over there, and meanwhile we have some action going on in the 4th base of Elazer. Whilst he is being annoying in the 3rd base of a GuMiho still. The creep clearing squad, now promoted to Ling clearing squad, did fall back to clear out the Lings from his 3rd base, and there's still a couple left, so maybe we can see a cheeky Baneling run by. This tank still anchoring this Marine push. There's now a bunch of Hellbats, so this squad has been promoted once again into the Suicide Squad. If you guys soak up like 4 Banelings, you've done your job. And if Elazer miscontrols and sends in all of his Lings, then you'll be promoted to heroes. 2 supply depots for those Banelings. Not bad, not bad. You could actually supply block GuMiho because he might be relying on those supply depots to finish at a particular moment. 2-2 on the way for GuMiho, and Elazer actually getting +2 armor, Carapace, and +1 range, so transitioning into those Hydras. And the 5th base has been established as well. Nice counterattack by Elazer once again. GuMiho getting caught with his pants down. His army is doing nothing near the 4th base of Elazer, where there's a bunch of Banelings on creep, I presume. But the natural of GuMiho is just getting rampaged. Torn apart. And Elazer can just retreat his army back. Use this backup 5th base. I love that he took that. Because it feels so good as a Zerg to just retreat away from a base that you can't defend without stepping off creep. And the Zerg is just on his production and in his 3rd base and was in his natural. GuMiho lost 25 SCVs and now has to do a lot, putting this army into the throat of Elazer. If he can control this area, he can actually cut off the 3rd and now 4th base from Elazer, from his natural and main, which would be a very nice position. Still, these units from Elazer being annoying in the 3rd base of GuMiho. And now there's another giant counterattack heading over. Elazer knows, I have enough. As long as I have some Banes, you can't move on to my creep. This is the Zerg advantage. And now he's moving in once again, clearing out this small, pitiful force of GuMiho and actually targeting down the CC. GuMiho knows that he needs to get something done, but he can't advance these siege tanks, and he's just being taxed by Elazer. Elazer, of course, warmed up after that game versus Clem. Now he's advancing his siege tanks, but the third base, GuMiho actually not dead. Not dead yet. 30 health. It might get repaired. Oh my god. Elazer just has so many units and he can't do anything. The orbital actually burns down. This is as all in as you get, but this giant surround is telling GuMiho to get out of my game. Elazer... I mean, let's be honest, he just won the game. There's no way GuMiho wins this. I don't see how he does it. He's keeping his hands warm, processing the utter defeat that he just has been delivered. Elazer FedExed him a little bit of defeat, and GuMiho does not want to sign for this package. But he has to. GG Elazer 2-0's GuMiho, which means that Elazer now has one up on GuMiho, Clem has one up on Elazer, which means the next game will have to be GuMiho versus Clem, a TVT, which I will be dreading a little bit because I do not play Terran. And the winner of that will decide whether Elazer and Clem, or GuMiho and Clem, or Clem and Elazer move on from Group C. So I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.